Hello, everyone, to Healing You with Gloria and with Gail, my co-host. We're just starting to step into the summer months now. And, sometimes it can cause a stir in our lives because there's so many transitions, so many things that are changing. And recently, Gail, with your cabin, you've got, there's a few things that are happening. And I'm just wondering if you might just share a little transparently what happens when all of a sudden several things start to come up and float up and start to whirl around you. How do you navigate that and stay present from your center, from your heart?
Yeah. Yes, because thanks for saying that, Gloria, because that's what I long to do is to be able to stay present in my heart. Because right now there is a lot of complexities aligning, what with things needing fixing, needing cribs for my new little grandson to come up and visit. And I bought one, but I don't have all the parts and trying to coordinate getting it. And so, yeah, that life is going to happen. It might not be the same thing, obviously, but it's going to happen. So, yeah, this staying centered with the heart is so important. And this work has been magical with supporting me with that, even though sometimes I may start to go off on the rut that has been well developed, that road that's been well developed of reaction. But just now, even here, a few words can go, oh, yeah, slow down. What is going on here? What is my choice of what I want, how I want to be in this world, and how I want to be in relationship with others?
How
So
you,
yeah.
yeah, how you really like it. I had an experience last night or yesterday afternoon as I was finishing up work. I had a call from it's a local hospital where my son goes and has endocrinology appointments. And there's been a mix up on the billing that was kind of a big mix up. And I've been communicating with them for, gosh, 9 months. And what I recognized this morning, I even recognized it yesterday. I recognized that something was triggered in me because I was having such a big reaction. So, what I want to really acknowledge, especially for our viewers, is when these things happen, because they will, that's normal. That's part of life. Because we have these imprinted or foundational patterns in our life that we've used to orient ourselves to know how to navigate when we get triggered. We're in our survival mode. And I recognized I was in my survival mode. My husband said I was talking much louder, I was talking much quicker, and I was, breathing more quickly, and I was heightened. And I'm not going to make that wrong. What I did in the moment was I acknowledged it and I started to recognize and name what it was like in my body. And I didn't really know specifically what it was. I'm imagining it was because there's someone in the position of authority. And then also because it was touching on finances, and that can be a trigger for me. It can be for a lot of people. And so just actually navigating and allowing myself to notice what I noticed without identifying it as me, but just noticing the pattern. So when I name things as a pattern, it helps me to be able to see it more clearly so that
Mhm.
I have the ability then to choose to come back into my heart and to breathe and then to shift my focus ever so slightly to what I really like. And for me, there's a difference if I say what I want versus what I like. Want has a connotation of like, I don't have it, I want it. Whereas if I say, well, I like this, it's like, oh, yeah, I know what I like. And I can step into it a different way. I know Marshall Rosenberg used the word like for things like that, because it just like you can kind of check in with yourself and say, yeah, I like that. So when you say yes to something, it can take you that step closer to what you truly love and why you're here. And I really love it when I can stay present in a conversation, no matter who they are, what kind of authority they have, and I can express my take on things. And when I go limbic and I get knocked off balance, then I'm not so good at that. And I'm not going to make that wrong, but it is a stepping stone on my own growth and development, which, I'll do for the rest of my days while I'm here.
Mhm.
And it really got my attention because it took me off the rails for a while. And what was it I said I did? I said yesterday, I said, I really like it when I can do things. I had a new recipe and it had all these instructions. And so I started following the recipe. And what I noticed is when I did that and I was attending to that, my body started calming down. So I know it was calming down my default mode network because I was attending. Your attention network is online then. And I was like, oh, that was rather lovely. I'm going to remember that strategy for myself in the future. And yet being able to come back and recognize, wow, that was a little bit of a wave within me. And not to make ourselves wrong for that is so important. Be kind to ourselves, give us our heart back.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I love hearing how, with you, what I'm hearing, Gail, is just coming back into relationship and acknowledging the truth, just hearing the resonant words, how your body just really, I don't know, joins up with that. That there's
Yeah, because of the work I've been doing and, we've been practicing, it's now even just the words can start to help me to come back. So as you mentioned, and we were talking about, it's not going to end having these triggers that come along. But what I'm celebrating is being able to come back to my heart and come back to me faster. and, and being able to be closer, in alignment of who I want to be. There's still these oops that happen when I get triggered and don't remember, but it's so nice and not nice. That's too insignificant of the word. It's
lovely, perhaps.
called to be, like more uh compassionate to me and it's really like learning to be my friend, my best friend for me, and taking care of me instead of leading myself and making sure that I'm doing everything for others or meeting others' expectations. Um, so that's a celebration, is seeing that happen.
That's a
And
huge celebration.
yeah, it is.
Celebrate that with you. Oh, yeah. And it's such a breath of fresh air to begin to bring grace to ourselves. Give us
Absolutely.
ourselves our heart back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can, it's so wonderful because I can feel the repercussions of that in so many ways of feeling healthier, being, looking at what I'm doing and seeing that I'm more in alignment of who I want to be. So it's, yeah, great celebrations all around.
Yeah, to be able to see and recognize things that we weren't able to before. A
Mm,
huge shift. It's a
yeah. And
beautiful.
not make me wrong, make
Yeah,
myself wrong about it. Yeah. Or bad or not good enough.
for sure. And that's a whole different paradigm. It's a whole different experience for our bodies to have.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So,
Because there's one thing, and I just want to catch that little bit before we sign off is, with this work and practicing it more, that's the big shift is it's one thing to know and think about it intellectually, hear the words and discuss it, but to actually practice it and then be able to access it
yeah.
when you need it, that's a whole different experience, and that's a felt experience in your body, and that's so key.
Well, that is the whole point. And I love that you just really have highlighted that because that's exactly the whole point.
Mhm.
Begin to step into this astonishing reality. Like, oh my God, you mean everyone experiences this? You mean it's not just me? Because that's what, when I work with people, that's our experience. I know that was my experience. Like, you mean you experience that too?
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah,
like, oh, what a relief. It's like this big dark cloak that's been on your shoulders that you just believe it's all about you in that way. And all of a sudden that cloak can just fall off. And there's a sense of astonishment and freedom. And it's like, wow,
yeah.
a whole new world.
Whole
That's,
new world, exactly.
oh, Miguel,
Oh,
exploring this whole new world with you.
yeah, it's wonderful and wonderful, wonderful journey. And we'll discuss more at our next together podcast.
Okay.